Your specific person just realized that they are absolutely in love with you. And the reason I know this is because you can never actually mess up a manifestation. So everything you could ever desire is always available to you. You just need to reach out your hand and grab it. But as always, let me give you a quote that explains this, and then we'll go over everything and you'll understand your specific person is obsessed with you. So in A Course in Miracles, they wrote, "Whatever is true is eternal and cannot be changed. Spirit is therefore unalterable because it is already perfect, but the mind can elect what it chooses to serve. The only limit put on its choice is that it cannot serve two masters." So what I love about this quote is it basically explains law of assumption in its entirety and has you understand that you can create and have whatever you want right here and right now, because it acts or shows that your spirit or your divine self, the version of yourself that is within divinity, has already achieved and has everything you could ever want. You're already with your specific person. It's already done. That's what Neville Goddard would talk about when he refers to as the 4D. But then also goes on to say, the only limit put on its choice is that it cannot serve two masters. So also something that Neville Goddard would talk about. In this reality, you are always in picking and choosing to serve a specific master. And this master is the assumption. So if you are in poverty and want to go into wealth, the idea is you can't serve both of those ideas at the same exact time. You can't be in a state of poverty, but also in a state of wealth at the same time. It's the same thing with manifesting our specific person. We either have to serve the essence of us being single or serve the master of us being with our specific person and in the perfect relationship. But it's always ever our choice. And the fact is, the mind in which it wrote can elect to choose to serve whichever reality it wants, because you've already created and done this within your divine self. If you were unable to do this or unable to manifest something, or your divine self has not done something already, you would not even be able to think of it. It's kind of like the same idea that when you think of colors, try to imagine a color that doesn't exist. It's impossible, right? That's the same thing why when you imagine a color, it means you can see or find it within your reality. The same is within your imagination. If you can imagine anything in your reality, any outcome, anything you want, it means you are drawing upon your divine self and you have already achieved it. But what do most people think of when they are manifesting? They think that they can alter it or that they can mess it up, or they're kind of jumping in between states. Because if you are currently serving the master of being single, then it means at times you probably serve the master of being in a relationship, or and so on and so forth. Neville Goddard actually has a quote in which she talks about jumping in between states, but I'll save it for another video. But that's usually what we do. Throughout the day, we are jumping between states, especially if it was one we are trying to get into. Now, we do have an overall state that we stick to, but that's a result of our habits and our imagination. And so basically what we're trying to do is make the idea, habit, or assumption of already being with our specific person something that is natural to us, so we remain in that state all the time. But the trick is, most people think when they fall out of the state, they lose all their progress. I've actually talked to a lot of people that have said that they think that being in the state or living in the wish fulfilled and then falling out of it or having a spiral or freaking out on their specific person because they didn't text them ruined all their progress. But let me tell you, it's absolutely impossible to do this. And I'll give you an example of it. Manifestation and states are kind of like riding a bike. When you ride a bike, you've already learned how to do it and you can jump back to it at any given time. You can never lose the ability to ride the bike. You just continue on wherever you have left off. That's the same thing with your manifestation. So don't let times in which you fall out of the state have you thinking that your specific person doesn't care about you or doesn't want to be with you, because that's not the case. If you were doing fantastic for weeks, if you've been watching my videos and you were manifesting amazing movement with your specific person, and then you have a bad day or feel bad or have some worried thoughts or say something incorrect to your specific person, we think as if we're losing all our progress, but that is literally impossible. Your divine self has already achieved it. We are just getting into the natural state of it. Again, it's like riding a bike. If you just assume the state and continue on from there and kind of act as if you've never actually fallen out of the state, you'll actually see everything continue in the exact way that you want, because everything, and I mean everything, is always working out in your favor, whether you think it is or not. It's the same reason why we almost can think of this in the negative. We never feel like the negative is altered. If we're doing something negative, we can jump right back into it and nothing is wrong. So if that can happen with the negative, why can't it happen with the positive? And I can actually give you an example of this through a success story as well. So let me put up on the screen a message on WhatsApp that I received from someone I was talking to, and I'm going to give you a little bit of background in it. So what I wrote to them, because we had a call the other day, I wrote, that's amazing, because they were telling me their successes, and I wrote, see, everything always works out for you, and I can even go into detail of that. And I wrote, are you still available for a call in about 20 minutes? And then they wrote, which is absolutely hilarious because I love rescheduling calls in this way. They wrote, is it possible to have the phone call now? I'm kind of waiting for my specific person now. So they were literally on the date with their specific person, which is absolutely fantastic. And again, I'll reschedule all my calls if that's the case. And that's actually happened more often than you think. So remember, things can happen in ways that you can't even imagine. So keep that in mind. But to go into the background of this idea and talk about how it is basically a bicycle that we're going to jump back into and you're going to manifest what you want. They had originally, it was actually one of the success stories included in another video, and they had another one. So I was like, why not put another one on there? They were the individual who was manifesting for their specific person, and they had the date changed because of the weather. Okay, so their specific person was like, let's go to a different day because I want it to be perfect for us. And they kind of freaked out, right? They were thinking, should I give up on my specific person? Had all of these negative thoughts, which every single person is going to have when they're in that state. But instead, obviously, I talked them into thinking of it from a more positive perspective, basically assuming the positive. And then this was the result of the message that they sent. But the crazy thing is, and I won't go into too much detail for the privacy of this person, but since their specific person altered or switched the date of their meeting or their dinner date, they actually had something spectacular happen with their career. So again, I won't go into too much detail, but they were basically at a place because they weren't on their date with their specific person and ran into someone super vital to their career. And now they're doing this massive project together, and it's literally their dream come true, all because their specific person altered the date. But that's what we want to remember. Things are always happening in your favor. And even if you feel out of the state, like this specific person was absolutely terrified, worried, felt like their whole manifestation was completely falling through. So that's falling off the bike or getting off the bike, but then talking and viewing it from a different perspective manifested even better than what they could ever have even imagined, because not only did they have the perfect date with their specific person, but they also manifested a massive move in their career. And the funny thing is, they would have loved and chosen that if that were one of the options that their logical mind would see. They'd be like, of course I'll meet my specific person tomorrow if today I meet someone that massively boosts my career. Every single person would pick and choose that. But from the state of a lack of abundance, we can't see that. And that's the effect of, again, falling off the bike. But this person jumped right back on the bike and continued their manifestation exactly as it had been going. And literally there was no difference. So we just need to get it out of our mind that if we mess up, if we do something wrong, if we say something wrong, if we act in a negative or opposite way, that our entire manifestation is screwed over and we have to restart. There is no restarting. You can't restart something you've already done. And so always keep that in mind when you're manifesting your specific person, and you'll realize that your specific person already right now is obsessed with you. They already know that you're the one. They already want to be with you because, again, why would they not want to be? And so what I want you to do throughout the day so you can manifest that same level of success is to basically just choose your master. Throughout the day, ask yourself, what master am I choosing to serve? Am I serving the master of being single, of being desperate, of being sad, being down, being the opposite of what we want? Or are we serving the master of happiness, abundance, love, and positivity? That's going to keep our mind in the direction of where we want to go. And we're going to realize it becomes so much easier because, again, it's just a bike that we're hopping on. You can never alter, mess up your manifestation. You've already ridden the bike, so jumping on it makes no sense to restart it. You are already right here and right now with your specific person. I know it might sound crazy, but hopefully this video makes that make sense. Stop listening to distorted perceptions, having you think that you can mess up your manifestation because you absolutely can't. So I want you to write that down below. What master are you serving? What outcome, what reality are you serving at this current moment? Write down an affirmation like, I choose to serve the master of being in my perfect reality. Or I choose to serve the reality of already being with my specific person. Or I choose to serve the reality in which my specific person is obsessed with me. I choose to serve the reality where me and my specific person are already married. Something like that. Comment that down below. And then if you did have any questions, because I definitely want to make a video on your specific questions, make sure to comment them there as well. well. If you did want to reach me personally, you can always head over to my website at kyleaugustcoaching.com. That's where you can send a question, a thought, a success, anything. You guys have been sending me awesome successes that you've been kind of experiencing, and I absolutely love it. So definitely send it over there if you can. So as always, do not limit yourself in this, because remember the quote, the only limit put on its choice, so the choice of your mind, is that it cannot serve two masters. Don't serve two masters. Serve the master in the reality that you want, and you're going to see your entire reality change, just like this success story. Again, thank you so much for stopping by today, and I can't wait to see you in my next video tomorrow.